Alright, welcome guys to the very first episode from Reddit's Dark Side, Stories from the Internet. This story was posted on a throwaway account. Ever since I became an adult about a decade ago, my mother has been against me moving out of the house. I finally got a job as a line cook 3 years ago. My mother and the rest of my family, which includes my sister and father, have been against me, mainly saying that such a job cannot sustain me, which was true. They also said I would hate working, which turned out to be false. About a year and a half later, I quit due to health reasons. The following spring, I got a new job as a computer programmer. While they seemed supportive at first, my mother and sister who I lived with gradually became more hostile. Eventually, I moved out of the house. About a month later, I lost my job, and about 3 months later, moved back home. Everything was cool at first. I was getting calls from recruiters and going to job interviews. They gradually became more hostile again, accusing me of being distant and not caring for them. However, they seemed to be very controlling and hateful at the fact I wanted to move out and wanted a decent job. So last month, I finally got the job as a programmer again, but it was out of town. I had just enough money to relocate to a new city. They became very hostile, starting a few days before I left, accusing me of not loving them, of hating them. On the day before I was scheduled to leave, my mother gave me 2 styrofoam ramen noodle cups and tore the cardboard covering that normally comes with it and threw it away. I was suspicious that they would try to sabotage my life, so I was careful in not trying to anger them. She gave me a few more food items, which I didn't use, to take on the trip with me. When I arrived at my new city and entered my hotel room, I chilled out. I was to go to work the next day, so after the first day at work, I ate a cup of ramen noodles and felt ill. I knew that feeling because my sister fed me something that made me feel the same way in 2011, which I then assumed was because of my recent illness. I felt weak, lightheaded, and short of breath. I drank water to make me feel better, because that's what I did last time that happened to me. Over the week, my mother kept calling me, making sure to remind me to eat my ramen noodles. I was short on cash then, waiting for my first paycheck. I never told her I ate it. I suspected then that I had been poisoned, and after doing some Googling, I believed it was cyanide. Now that is something that you should never have to think, that your own mother would do that to you. So I registered that thought, because I simply cannot bear to think that. So I went to cyanidetest.com and ordered a kit and tried it. Now look at the graphics in the video on this page, and then look at my image. He then includes a picture of, a video of a cyanide test kit, and then his own results from his own, showing a positive cyanide test result. I will include images in the show notes. Update from the OP. Update 8:45 a.m. I'm currently in Topeka, Kansas. I work downtown in a government office building, which has a police department. I visited the Capitol Police Station here and spoke to an officer. I showed him the evidence, and he said he could do nothing since the package was opened and might have been contaminated. So does anybody have any ideas? Pretty crazy post so far. It goes into a part 2 that was posted a few months after the original. And it goes as following. I was only able to file the police report, but only that so far. The police did not have enough evidence to investigate. I have gone no contact with my family. I currently live in a cheap motel in Topeka, Kansas. Yesterday, after getting home from work, I work for the Kansas state government as a software developer. The lady at the front desk told me that my mother called them to speak to me. For security reasons, the motel needs both the name and room number, and my mother didn't have my room number. She didn't even attempt to call my cell phone, which makes me believe that she just wanted to know if I was staying there and where. So in the morning, I leave a little earlier than usual. The sky was still in the early twilight phase. I take the bus to and from work because my car blew a head gasket a little over a year ago. Before I moved and got my current job, as I was walking towards the bus stop, I saw someone in a strange car. She told me that if she visited, she would be using a rental car. Using the finger to tell me to come here, I looked but kept on walking. Then she opened the car door, and she was in a black outfit and a hood, which is strange for my mother. Then I knew it was her when I saw her face. She told me to come here, and I said no. I kept a good distance. She said that she just wanted to see if I was okay. So I said yes, I am. She said that she just wanted a hug, but I said no. I don't know if there was anyone else in the car with her, but she is a gun owner and a good shot. She routinely kicked all of our asses at duck hunt when I was a little kid. The OP continues, I really think that it is not safe for me here in Topeka, so if anybody knows of any net development jobs, please PM me. Also, please give me some advice. So this is a crazy story. posted 8 years ago. Someone replied back to the post with this: "What does she have to gain from your illness or death? I wonder if she got a life insurance policy in your name. That would certainly give her motive. Police will only take this seriously if you provide evidence for motive." Now, some people have suggested MSP, and that is, I'm going to butcher this, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Is a mental illness in which a person acts as if an individual he or she is caring for has a physical or mental illness when the person is not really sick. So obviously this is a pretty wild story, and I wanted to see if this guy was still alive. And unfortunately, he hasn't made any more posts with this account, but he does have one of his last comments, and it states, "And by the way, I've moved out of state since making my last thread with this account, and I'm doing very well with a nice job and in better health." So he's doing definitely better, but that is where it drops off more or less, and that was in 2013. So pretty crazy. Hopefully he's still kicking it, and hopefully he's out of Topeka, Kansas, because not too much going on down there. That's gonna be good for him. So thanks for checking out the very first podcast from Reddit's Dark Side. Peace.